Before I started ever taking Uber, I've experienced bus drivers and keke riders that were full-time graduate, master degree.
That's not wrong with that.
Welcome to this beautiful episode on Novo TV. Today we have a major challenge on our hands: youth restiveness and the challenges that we face, the rising increase in criminality and crime related activity. You hear news every day. We woke up just some few days ago to hear of a young man that killed both the mother and the father. I guess his quest for money or making wealth to belong. We're going to be looking at youth restiveness, the causes, and how we can assuage, how we can mitigate, and how we can save this generation from the fallouts. With me on set today, on my right here, I have a very good friend of mine. He's been with us for quite some time. His name is Chidi Peter. Like I explained the last time, like I introduced him the last time, he's a journalist, political analyst. This time we're looking at social analysis and contribution on what we can do to assuage the challenges of the youth. Mr. Chidi, you're welcome.
That means you come here for debate now. Panel timekeeper, panel of judges. I want to propose and dispose.
Whichever one.
So I want to come in for here.
You're welcome. And to my left, I have Mr. Valentine Gogo. He was with us sometime and he spoke with us glowingly about one of our challenges in one of our episodes. Mr. Valentine, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Valentine, are you in the position of proposing and disposing? I want to know so that we are proposing
that at some point and opposing at some point.
Okay, which one are you now? Are you proposing or disposing?
We're disposing.
I want you to watch this. It's going to be interesting and interactive, enlightening. You're going to learn a lot listening to these two young men on set today. Mr. Chidi, let's start with you. What do you think is the cause of youth restiveness? What is the problem?
When you talk about youth restiveness, first of all, you talk about background from home. I remember when I was growing up after my secondary school, this what they call secondarian. You are a graduate of a secondary school, so you have this fora that you're a senior boy. During our time, you have the haircut they call punk. Punk, you scrape here, you scrape here and leave the rest.
Yes.
Then you have the skido. The skido is you wear polo inside, wear t-shirt, open the t-shirt and then leave it here. Yeah, so then you have the gabardine and the satin. You sew nika, trouser gabardine satin. You put double fishing, or you wear yopi. Yopi is what people call sagging now. This is the generation, you know. Or you wear different styles of clothes that time. Then at that time we are growing up. Then that you have opanka sandals, opanka shoe, and slip-on. That time my mother makes you to understand that you have not reached the age of wearing it. That time my mother sent you on errand to go and wash plates. To you, I'm a senior boy. Watch the senior boy go and wash plates. You don't wash that plate, she will flog you. If it doesn't flog you, the seniors that time, which is now Prince Lawrence Eze, is an engineer and a former senator aspirant in Enugu State. These are the people that they will come, that are going to flog you for disobeying your mother. So they try to bring you down home. So your mother is going to the farm, she takes you to the farm. You close from school, you're going to play your ball. She's up to playing your ball, you play your ball, you come back home, you do domestic work. And when you get injury, that is when you're going to know that these are mothers, they have iron fingers. The hot water, or just dip hand and bring the rag and you hear it away. So you see the moral upbringing. They tend to make you to shift your mind from this aspect because you have not reached the age. I remember in 1993 when my uncle slapped me because I broke the side mirror of his 504 station wagon. The 504 they used to carry foul. Give me a little slap for doing that, you know. So you see parents that time being at close to monitor whatever their children are doing. But these days it's not like that. We have new modern mothers. That time before you enter school now, my brother, you put your hand like this. If this no cross, you're not going to enter school. And when you do something and they say, I'm going to report to your school, man, you have to beg. So you find this training from home to school, that discipline. And what you have not reached the age of doing, if you do it, you'll be in trouble. I remember at that time when I was growing my beard, mothers go and barb that nonsense. Who do that growing beards? Come on, go and barb it. You have to do it. I have to tell your mother. But now you see children now in their parents' house wearing dreadlock, wearing all kinds of things.
Beard gang.
Then that time we have some of Paraj bag. So from some of Paraj bag, the bag come up that time. That bag is one hand bag. So when you come back home from it, you tell your mother who owns the bag. You tell, okay, it's Mr. Noble that owns the bag. She would now call to Mr. Noble and say, are you owner of this bag? He said, don't give it to my child next time because I have not reached the age of carrying the bag. She tend to move your psyche, your mentality, your thinking about, not taking what you have not up to getting.
Yeah.
There are things you do to your mother at that time. They want to know what really happened. So mother do more of policing than the father. The father is like a superintendent. So when the woman don't talk, you disobey, the father comes in. And when they say you're going to tell you to your father, you have to adjust your belt yourself. Because that time, fathers now use belts, army belts. I know your father will have one because you very stubborn. They'll have army belts. They'll tell you, oh yeah, lie down. But now, try it now. If you flog a child 2 stroke, okay, he will die.
Exactly.
In WH. So that is discipline from home. From that home, you buy your first car. You ask you how much is your salary. You see that your salary is 10 naira. You buy a car of 30 naira. You go to that your boss and ask your boss, are you aware that my son bought a car? You understand? Is this car your priority? Why must you buy a car? They tend to check what you do. Unlike what we have now in new modern mothers, where even the mother herself, they are doing anything they like to do. They are wearing bomb short and doing all sorts of things. Now, the society where we are too, where we tend to emulate the white man and what they do, not knowing that we have our own values. They have their own values. In as much as they brought civilization to us, but they have their own values. It's in a white man where a white man will live all his life without building a house. Any day he dies, he's such a cemetery. But now in Africa, on Igbo land to be precise, when you are 30, 35, 40, your first thinking after marriage is house. House in the village or house in the city. But over there it's not the same. So you can see that our value system are not the same. But sometimes we tend to borrow what you are not able to handle. You find a child who does one small business, God closed his eye and the thing paid. What he used to get a GLK of 9 million. Is that your priority? That should not be a priority. So that's some of them go into robbery, some of them go into all sorts of things to make money. In the past, I'm not saying that in the past we don't have people who are bad. In the past, there are houses, the cities I don't enter it. The person don't know where go. You will not go there. We had that. But now the morality then was high than what we have now. And of course, the youth now, some of them have thrown away consciousness. They tend to do what they want to do and damn the consequences. Reason because if somebody die now, children don't run away. But before, when we are growing up, if somebody dies, you can't come out now. For what? You can't go to the burial now. For what? But now some of the children will be even beginning to look at the cops and they are passing. Nobody talks to them. So these are part of the things we find ourselves. In one aspect, when I finished my youth service in the year 2003, that time they paid 7,000. The minimum with that time was about 12,000. Then into the market, there was no job. So some of my friends, they picked jobs that they were paying them that time 7,000, 8,000. I picked a job of 3,000, as I said from. So I have to bring myself down to be able to rise. But some people did not do that. Some of them who did not do that, who ran faster than that time, today, the message built about that time is an old model. And so in life, it's all about your youth have to begin to look at how they should take something gradual by gradual, step by step, graduating, then you win the race. So this is all about youth restiveness. Because Mr. A drank water and made 1 million, does not mean that you drink the same water and make 1 million. Every one of us will came in with our own stars and how we're going to make our lives.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. You spoke as in taking us back to...
The Noble TV cameraman, next time bring beer.
That's what you said. Don't worry, we're going to do that. Well, thank you for what you said. You took us down history lane where you started from, how the family molded you. You spoke globally about the mother, the role of the mother.
Yeah.
You said the father is like a superintendent.
They both are the real police officers.
Okay, that's very good. Va, listen to what Chidi said. From your own perspective, do you think it's correct? Do you think it's solely the responsibility of the family? That's why we are where we are today.
Okay,
Family and school.
Yeah, he mentioned the family and the society. Some other factor that could be affecting the kind of youths we have nowadays. Social media has a very large influence, very high influence in the children that we're raising right now. Something I always tell parents, it's not really bad with the kind of development we have. Like if you use YouTube and social media the right way, it will make the child's IQ to grow faster. All right. So that's why I said we might be opposing and disposing later on, but that's my own take. So I'm not against the civilization that Africa has adopted because it has its own positive side. All right. But some of us, some children have taken it the extra mile, have taken it too far by adopting the negative vices that are also available on this social media. All right. So they see things and they want to replicate them in our society today. At the end of the day, they get into all forms of crime and things they are unable to come out from, like the peer pressures, cults in schools and all those stuff. They didn't just jump into them. There was some measure of how will I put it now? Some measure of publicity about the value of these things, and the youths didn't go further to investigate the side effects of this value because these things, they won't market the negative parts to you. They only tell you these things would help you like this because I'm speaking from experience. All right. So they won't tell you these things that so when you've gotten into it, you can now start experiencing some of those things, but these are some negative parts of this social media and the peer pressure from schools and all that. But outside that, like he rightly said, the family has a very fundamental role to play in the upbringing of a child. Same with the society. And if these two factors are failing right now, which they woefully are, man, we've never seen the worst of the youth yet.
So
let me quickly comment.
Yes.
It is sometimes when people go to church, they will be praying for miracle. You don't have business doing, and pastors ask you to raise your phone up. You see miracle money. Miracle money for where? For you to have miracle and for God to bless you, you must have something
to do.
Now
yes.
look at, have you read the story of Paul and Peter of P Square? How they started, is how he slept in the car. They positioned themselves for someone to pick them up.
Yeah.
You read the story of what do you call it, Timaya, how he suffered, how he positioned himself with music. So there are people, even like KG.
Yes.
So you have to position yourself where God will sight you and bless you. It's not when you are at home, on in your generator, watching TV, that God will come and bless you.
No way.
You must position yourself to a particular thing. Linda KG came, there are bloggers were existing when she came
Before
in.
she came in, yes.
But when she came in, she took over. The same thing to Niger News. There are. It's something to Sowore.
Yes, very true.
You understand? So you must position yourself in a place where God will see you and will say, this my son has done well.
Yeah.
No, but if I recall, you started banking in the year 2000. Year 2000 times almost 20 years. You have not relented. And I know that throughout your period of career, you've passed through thick and thin. You've not relented. So, but this our youth, they want to have this greener without suffering. That is also a contributory factor. I used to tell youth, the gold that you wear on the neck is a stone that passed through a furnace, not fire, a furnace.
Furnace, yes.
And it came out as a precious stone. So for you to succeed in life, you must pass through the same process. There's no easy way to success, no matter how you want to go about it. If you by any crook or hook make your money, you end up like John Leon, who is now confessing. You saw him in the church crying and praising God. He's a kidnapper.
Kidnapper, serious one.
Well, you have a very good point. They don't want to go through the process.
Yeah.
They just want the success. We're looking at the shortcut. But let me ask, Val, let me ask you. We talked about the social media. We talked about the place of the family, peer influence. What about the government, the role of the government? Do you think the government has a role to play?
Well, I believe Mr. Chidi will have a lot to say on that too. But yes, I know he has a lot to say about that. But my own take on the government has failed. The government has failed. Obviously, they failed because something that has not worked for the youth is the fact that there's been, in fact, zero employment. Now, I've experienced Uber drivers in Lagos. Before I started ever taking Uber, I've experienced bus drivers at Keke riders that were full-time graduate, master degree.
That's not wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But they would have preferred to have practiced what they studied. There's nothing wrong with practicing what you went to school to go and study. Someone spends 4 years, 5 years practicing, studying accounting, law, and all that. Then you come out because there is no structure in place by the government to empower these people who you've sent to school and kept them 1 year. Say they are serving the nation. After that, what happens? Some of them don't have the tolerance. Some of them don't have the temperament to manage themselves, their emotions, their psychology, and everything. They're now going to the wrong path. They're going to the wrong path. Then some are so held down that they say, okay, anyhow, me man just survive. Then you see them, okay, going to carry dustbin. But sometimes it works out. It works out. They can turn out a success story from that pain. Like you said, the furnace. That might be their own furnace that God has prepared for them. But not everybody just wakes up in the morning, because the school they went through should have been enough furnace.
My brother, the problem we have that we is self-deceit. You are lying to yourself. That's exactly the problem we have to achieve.
How do you mean you're lying to
what
yourself?
you don't have, don't claim you have it because you want to impress someone. You don't have a car, or you are kissing a girl, or you are meeting Noble TV, and you are claiming what you don't have.
Okay.
You don't have. You went to somewhere, all you pour on your clothes. My brother, where did they go? You want to have 30 shoes when you have no work. How is it possible?
But the government has failed.
No, let me come before government.
Okay.
Government has its own role to play, which is creating the enabling environment.
Yes.
But the question you ask yourself is, did government give people like the video job? No, his father is rich. Let me not leave it. What do you call it? The Michael Obi, I played ball. The government give him a job. Let me also tell you, P Square. The government give them job. Bonabo, the government give him job. There are people that have started with taxi driver on high purchase that are now owners of taxis. The government give them job. I'm not saying the government have their own role to play, which is creating the enabling environment, which is intervening. Actually, the role of the government intervening in some area. Talk about NYSC. I've made proposal to the government. I told them my proposal. NYSC has overstayed its welcome in Nigeria. NYSC came as a child of circumstances because of the war. They're trying to how to unify Nigeria, how to have inter-religious and interface, whatever. We have agreed.
Very true.
The war of that time of 1967 to 1970 is gone. The war we are fighting now is war of poverty and unemployment. I told my proposal as a government, okay, what we do is simple. Don't allow these children to come and waste 1 year in the camp, 21 days, where army, quote and unquote, army, quote and unquote, war, we're pressing our children's breasts in the name of allowing them to climb the rope.
Exactly.
That's the truth now. And then allow them to climb the rope. After that, again, they begin to share. Come, let me post it to where you are going to serve. From there, a lot of them have come back home from NYSC camp with Bele, which we don't know whether it's the student is owner or the guardian, the command brigade is the owner. We don't even know. We don't want to dive into that. Then you begin to talk about coming also to post them in a primary school where you have an English teacher. The English teacher will simply abandon her classroom to the copper and go to the market and begin to sell egusi or bono or kaya mata, as the case may be, or account. The copper stays 1 year and go. You come back to the classroom and you look so strange to the children, because teaching is all about interaction. It's all about interface. So now the proposal says government can do it this way. In Nigeria, we have every state having its own God-endowed mineral resources. Let us see how we can harness them. For example, in Anambra State, you can say, Anambra, okay, let us convert NYC in Anambra State into mechanical engineering. It's all about motorcycle repair. It's all about motor repair for those who do mechanical engineering. Let us move to River State. Let us make River State petrochemical, from where you get the petrojerry, from where you make the cream, the hair cream, the body cream, and whatever, as NYSA camping. Let us move to Zamfara States, from where we use the sugar and cane and make sweets and confectionaries with their corn and so on and so forth. Let us also move to Lagos, where we now use things like plastics for synthetic weavons or synthetic whatever. Let us move to Ibadan and convert Ibadan into, say, printing technology. Those who want to learn printing of whatever. Let us use Enugu for paint making. Convert every camp in the Nigeria as an industrial entrepreneurial center. So when you are graduating, because the world now is doing entrepreneurial, the world does not go what you study is what you learn. So when you are graduating as a mechanical engineer, what they do is very simple. They should post you to Nnewi. You go to Nnewi. The Nnewi market, Busako mechanic is there. He will be posted to the camp. Innocent staff are there. They will post it to the camp. They now have to begin to teach our children that read mechanical engineering how to even fix tire. Talk about how to change plug.
At the end of the day, you are still referring back to the government.
Then I'm coming.
Okay.
Then in Aba, say leather. They now talk about how to make shoes. You train them how to make shoes. My brother, you serve in Nigeria. Sahid, out of 3 weeks in camp, Sahid is just 1 week. That 1 week, once one woman with a tiny voice will be down. So people will be sleeping. She's seeing Sahid. Once she finishes, she collects her money and go. Since the world is driven into entrepreneur, we have to convert these centers, these NYSC camps, into entrepreneurial center, where after graduation, you go into this camp and spend 6 months or the so-called 9 months or 11 months. Learn skill. When you learn this skill, on your last day, government comes and says, okay, what do you learn how to do? You learn how to sew clothes. We are giving you 1 million naira as a startup pack to start up a business. If you give this 1 million naira to 1,000 people, 1,000 youths in Nigeria, Nigerian youth are very industrious and hardworking. They have vision.
Very true.
If you give to, they're not But if you give to 1,000 people, are you hearing me now? Now, 400 youths are going to use their own and buy jean trouser and mess up with it. 200 youths are people from rich homes that I don't need the money, motherfucker, I want to do that. But then the remaining 400 in the next 1 year are going to transmit and convert this seed you give into the hand to the employer of labor in Nigeria. With that, to begin to reduce unemployment in Nigeria. But some people see government as the only source of employment, which is politics or in civil service. And when at the civil service, they keep complaining. So that's a problem. So the more we begin to segment or begin to create a division between the primary responsibility of government, which is creating the neighboring environment for you to thrive, and government giving employment to the youths to work in ministries or to political playboys or whatever, the better for us in this Nigeria as youth of Nigeria.
Okay, I think I'll disagree with you. Now, my disagreement there is that it's actually the government's responsibility, not just to create an enabling environment for the youth to work.
But has that environment been created?
It has not even been created, first of all. So
that
one is already a problem. So
if you are using the government to give you work, in the Ministry of Justice, it's time to work.
Are you aware that? Are you aware that even in schools, as little as bursary, they don't get it?
We're not talking about bursary.
These are parts of the responsibilities that are also affecting the system.
Nigerians are hardworking people. They should keep their bursary. Jimovia of Zenith Bank is not. It has more than 10,000 people under his employment role. The same thing to Tony Lumelo.
We're speaking about 200 million people here.
I'm talking about government. What government of Nigeria need to do is to create the enabling environment,
which is not there yet.
They should keep their work. Because if I say now, bros, go and work as a level 7 in Ministry of Education, are you going to work?
I will not even take level 13.
That's what I'm saying.
I will take level 13.
That's what I'm saying. But if government create an enabling environment now for you to thrive in your area of specialization, you're going to thrive without government assistance. 90% of our Nigerians who are in politics today we benefited from government enabling environments by way of giving them loan after they graduate from NYSC and by way of giving them scholarships,
which does
in
not
the
work.
university period,
which does not work.
A lot of them Joe Ibokwe said that after his graduation, he was given money by federal government of Nigeria, and that's how he started. So they keep his certificates
under some kind of connection. If it doesn't just work for
that's the labor environment. When you convert this camp,
so if
when
I'm
you convert this,
mentioning one instance over a million others,
if they convert this camp,
statistics doesn't really work.
If they convert this type of NYSC,
yes,
where these our children who used to go and spend their whole 21 days plus 9 months wasted,
yes,
if they convert it into a particular specific skill acquisition center in Nigeria,
we do have skill acquisition in Nigeria running.
Where?
In various parts of this nation.
My brother.
At the end of the day, what do they do with them? They have some in Delta State where they will take a lot of people and say, okay, as a matter of fact, a relative of mine after graduating from school, she couldn't get a job. She heard about a Delta State skill acquisition. You go there, you learn this, you learn that. At the end of the day, they'll give you stuff. She went through it. Nothing came out. There was no funding. She gained the experience. Where was the funding for?
Don't even go to Delta State. Or Delta State I investigated. I even have somebody there.
Okay.
When you learn the skill, they give you the machine, they give you the equipment.
They give you the money to run it.
Some they give you they'll give you the equipment. If you, for example, sewing, they'll give you full package of sewing. Okay. They'll now give you 100,000 naira to go and look for a shop.
Really?
Yes. I've investigated this as a journalist. I even have a candidate
that's
now who is also learning. She just went there like every other person, applied, we don't know anybody. She went home. After 2 weeks, they called her.
Okay, so which means since you can also testify about this
government is working, okay, but all we are saying that it is not enough.
It's not enough.
It is not enough. They should convert NYSC camps.
No, NYSC first is already a failure. So let's not even go into that.
Well, let me ask. You said they are working. They should convert NYSC to skill. Is that the only problem? You think if they convert NYC to this skill acquisition,
skills,
you think the problem of youth restiveness,
we will solve,
robbery, everything will
must have solved this problem halfway.
No,
my brother, hold on. Let me come. Let me come.
We have to take some civilized.
Okay, let me come now.
We have to make some references.
Let me come now. Okay. In America, there are jobs that you don't need to go to university for.
Very true.
Like driving.
Yes.
You go to driving, specialize in truck driving, specialize in payloader driving, specialize in home caretaking. It's just a mini certificate that you are giving that you have been certified, you can practice this. We don't have them in this country. That is why we are disenchanted. NYSC, why I emphasize on NYSC is this. My late boss will have it that the worst crime that you ever commit is to leave somebody half educated or a graduate to go into a crime. If a graduate goes into a crime, it's very difficult to be caught. Are you aware? As a graduate now, if I go into Yahoo, you will catch me, but you will hide you because I know what to do. As I want to do it. Even before EFCC or whatever, the grammar, EFCC might be confused. That when you arrested an illiterate who just finished secondary school, you'll be shivering. So as a graduate going into a crime, it's more dangerous. So now it is them now that we are going to begin to arresting them in the sense that giving them an enabling environment to thrive so that they can employ other small ones under them.
Wait, Chidi, before you continue, I'm not taking sides here, but let me take you on what you said now about NYC, converting NYC. You said if NYC is converted, it's going to help reduce the crime. The level of killing is on the increase. Before I come to you, I won't ask you a question. Before I come there, let me talk about what you said. Graduates driving Uber in Lagos and wherever they are. You understand? Somebody that read mechanical engineering driving Uber.
Because I got them in environment.
Because there's no enabling environment. Yes. Correct. So that's the question. Government has not created the enabling environment. Then 2, we're talking about NYC. Since February to date, ASU has been on strike. Are we talking about where is that enabling environment? Who are the people that will go for this NYC now that you're talking about? Is it the people that are at home? Well, I'm thinking of the laptop.
What they studied.
Not director. When you are opening the page of ASU, you might not go home today. The page of ASU education in Nigeria is where, like I said, government plays lackadaisical attitude, trances with our academics. How to solve ASU problem is as simple as ABCD. No matter how thick or how tough they think that the man are. And for you to solve a university problem, you don't need the pro-chancellor. You don't need the chancellor. The person you need is the vice chancellor of a university. It's the vice chancellor that will come and tell you what is on in his universities and how best to solve them, because he is in touch with the lecturer who is there at the blackboard or who is in the lecture room. If you force them back to the classroom, the era of handout will come back.
100%.
And when he comes back,
100%.
the vice chancellor cannot stop it. When they stop issue of sale of handouts, every lecturer went into publishing books by going to the internet, plagiarizing books, download them, publish them, and sell book at high rate as 9,000, 10,000, 6,000 for a small book to the students. And they make it as one of the assessments.
Yes.
They say it's carrying 30 marks.
30 marks.
And you must buy. And you have the list of all of them. Then for those of you who are Olodo, what they do is very simple. You fail your exam, you are the male now, you fail your exam, just go and look for money. When you look for money, you meet him. He brings a fresh answer sheet and use his hand and write the answer for you. What you need is to transcribe what is here to here and submit, and he stamps. You go home. Then for our ladies, it's a simple thing. You go and wait for me in the hotel. He comes back and write it for you. You try to put in the next answer sheet and go. So if they continue to do the way they said, forcing them back to the classroom, the issue of how that brain drain is even, I don't know what to have to our educational system. So they should call the vice chancellors. Tech fund are doing their work excellently well, but it is a mistake of tech fund, because sometimes when you go to our universities in Nigeria, you will see lecture halls built by tech fund that have not been used for the past 4 years. True of us.
Very true.
We don't. That's the thing. They just come and establish a project that is not in line with the need of that particular school. So, but the vice chancellor, as a vice chancellor, we know that instead of building this structure, let us use this thing and buy the whatever equipment for microbiology or for biochemistry or for buy this machine, buy this machine, buy this machine. There are a lot of polytechnics in Nigeria that don't even have a single machine for practical. Here they are polytechnics. So it's a problem. So the sooner we begin to see how best to solve the problem with our academics, the better for us. Otherwise, we are tinting ourselves into a more dangerous civil war.
I think we're going to take that. Just like what you said, the problem we have with our youth is more than ASU.
It is.
But solving ASU problem will go a long way to reducing that problem.
Solving ASU problem will go to our children going back to school first.
Go back to school.
Then the other one, those who are graduating, they should convert to the skill acquisition. Then all that have graduated are thrown out on the streets. No wahala. God is our shepherd. We will make it in Jesus' name. Amen.
But how about states that pay their unemployed? Countries that pay their unemployed.
Huh?
Countries that pay their
unemployed. Like I say, not in Nigeria. You never hear.
First now. So which means it is.
So you never hear about zero allocation in this country. You never hear that. You never hear about zero allocation in this country. You're not in Nigeria.
Like you said, we looked at the courses. We looked at courses. We looked at the family, the school. We look at peers. We look at government. Just tell us in your word, what do you think we need to do to address this challenge of this generation?
The first problem, the first one that needs addressing, the parents. I actually don't subscribe to modern parenting. I just try to subscribe to modern parenting, because if you subscribe to modern parenting, a lot of things will go wrong. First of all, you'll be damaging the child instead of managing and raising the child. Because if you let the child, like the civilized countries will say, let the child just learn from their mistakes and all that, you are meant to be that rod that's supposed to correct. That the Bible says that don't spare the rod and spoil the child. So modern parenting is already a destructive factor in our system right now. So that needs to be addressed. Parents need to sit up, understand that a lot of parents do a lot of jobs, so it's an excuse for them to be unavailable. I have a friend who only saw his father for the first 18 years of his life. He only saw the father on Sundays, because every morning in Lagos, based on the distance, how Lagos traffic is, the father leaves the house by 4 a.m. in the morning, comes back 11:30 p.m. in the night. And so before he leaves, they're still asleep. When he comes back, they are still asleep. So he only saw the father only Sundays all through his first 18 years of his life. So that on his own can be an excuse for the father to say that he's trying to provide for the family. But in such a case, somebody has to fill in for the other. So the father is going to be sourcing for funds to manage the family. The mother has to step in. Unlike before, where yeah, you have both your father and your mother, like our time, someone is available to scold you at every instant. It's not like that anymore. Parents have to do a lot of jobs. Some of us don't just do only one job, as a matter of fact. They were now going to multitasking, multiple source of income. I have a friend who has like 20 sources of income that she does. So that can be an excuse for her not to pay attention to her child. But that on its own is already the first sign of failure in the raising of that child. That has to be addressed. Secondly, the access to the internet has to be limited and monitored. Because in some countries like Russia, some countries like Saudi Arabia, the government actually monitors the content that goes into the population. It's not just everything that they can access to tell you how strict they are. So these things are not impossible to reach. They are not far-fetched. It's just for someone to take responsibility to make sure that these things are being implemented, of which we have the resources.
And that's the responsibility of the government.
Both the government and the parents.
Okay.
Both the parent and the government. So this information has to be managed in such a way that, yes, you can say, okay, this thing goes in. Look at the upcoming World Cup. They've already told the world that these things, these and these and these and these would not be allowed in Qatar. FIFA can't do anything about it. As big as FIFA. But if it was to be other countries like US, even if they come to Nigeria and say they want to start killing people, they will just happily receive them. They will happily receive themselves. All these guys have told you, if you do this, you will go to 11 years. Not 1 year, not 11. So you see, these are people with principles. Even Russia did it. When they had World Cup in Russia, Russia still had principles lined out for any foreigner coming to the country. These are people who are serious. So these things are not impossible to achieve. It's just for someone to stand up and say, I'm taking responsibility to implement them. And it starts from home before we now move over to the parents.
Okay, you've spoken about the social media, you've spoken about the parents, which other things?
The government taking responsibility.
Okay, like you talked about, yes, an enabling environment.
Yes, enabling environment. But and beyond enabling environment, beyond agreeing to the enabling environment, is for them to actually make sure that they don't just create an enabling environment. They create infrastructures. They create.
You don't want to use the word jobs. You said jobs.
Yeah, I don't want to say jobs now. Government. And also, you're paying a government staff. You're paying a government staff so a kind of salary that all he can do with it is pay transportation with it. You won't be committed to that job.
When you talk about that,
be committed to that job.
When you come about that, you are thinking towards where we have multiplication and bureaucracies in the civil service. For example, now in Nigeria, as poor as we are, we're having the Senate and House of Reps doing the same job.
Yes.
We don't need them. You are having SA, PA, SSA, executive assistant, assistant executive assistant, and so on. That is a multiplication.
Assistant PA.
These are multiplication, and these are the conduits to which we have a lot of wastages in Nigeria. Yes. That is exactly the problem we have as far as governance is concerned. And we need somebody or people who are going to go there and begin to address them. What is a senator who have come to make law? What does it have to do with constituency project money? You don't do that. And now what they do now is that a lot of them come in, register a company, register as a ministry, they go to a contract. They don't even know anything about. Yes. When they collect the contract, they're going to find me and you to sell the contract to us at exorbitant rates. Where after the contract, you even put your money to complete the contract.
Because of settlement.
Because of settlement.
And levels of settlement.
Is that the thing? So it's a problem. Now, my last word is very simple. My last word is like a trending video where a woman who just gave birth to celebrate a 3-year birthday or 4-year birthday of her child took the child to a club.
Oh, wow.
And was spending the child money. And the child was holding my nash. And he was dancing. That's the height of irresponsibility.
Highest level of irresponsibility.
You get it? That is where we have. You also have our mothers who have doing night job. So when they do night job and by prevention she marries, how do you expect her to make a home? You also have mother who say, I can't keep when we are growing, my mother's shop is in front of the house. My father go to his business, it's in front of the house. She knows when you come back to school,
Yes.
when you are crossing the gate. But here you are, it's no more. That is why you have incessant child kidnapping. Because the parents will leave far away place to far away place for business. The children come back without parents, without nobody to guide them. They play football. At the age of 11, one Abuki or one Musa or one Malam or one whatever will begin to see how he can maneuver his way because they don't have. Sometimes when they come back, when they come back, there's no food for them to eat. So our parents need to begin to wind the hand of clock where when you marry, the wife should not be far away from the house.
Yes.
And this issue of keeping children away from school, the child will finish lesson or what do you call it, normal this school, and stay till evening.
Yeah.
And from evening, you now go to shop. The child will be going back to home by 10 o'clock in the night and coming waking up with the following morning to go to school. It also has psychological effects. So how we are grown up, that's the one who says because of school. I say it's not true. I went to public school where we pursue the grasshoppers. We pursue them.
Yes,
you play football. You move your white, tie it on your waist, spoil your sandal, play football.
Trek with bare feet home.
I can come back. We maybe have lost your sandals.
Exactly.
That does not change the word come from Kim or whatever. The person who is in Oxford Secondary School or British International Cambridge Secondary School cannot pronounce it different from what it used to be, and he cannot write it differently.
Exactly.
Come is come. So they should not say because it's in this school. You go to public school. You go to public school.
Of course.
So that's the thing about it. So that influence should not come in. So parents, our mothers too, they stop mounting pressure on the man. Man now only sand and then be born. If you mount pressure on the man, 50 years, you go japa, you begin suffer. By that time, the woman is 45 or 43. The man will just die because of pressure. What you don't have money to do, respect yourself and go in. You mustn't send your pikin to the best school in the car community or in that town if the man cannot afford it. What the man cannot afford, allow it that way. Don't force it on the man because your neighbor's child is going to this place, you must go to this place. Don't force it because your neighbor is living in a flat, you must live in a flat. Don't force it because your neighbor is living in Victoria Island or Ikoyi, you must live in Ikoyi. It's not a must. There are seasons and time for everything. God is destined to bless everyone. If God does not bless you directly, He will bless your child. That will bless you. So, but sometimes these are new modern mothers, they tend to want to have everything at once. That is why your child who is doing nothing, who just went out, after some come back,
16-year-old.
after come back with GLK. And he's paying money, and after he's working, you don't know what he's doing. He says into estate where.
Then you take him to church for Thanksgiving. How of him celebrating in church with your pastor?
God have blessed us with car.
It's okay. Thank you so much. One final one. Let me ask you this question. We talked about the responsibility of the parents. Not everybody grew up knowing their father or mother. We talked about the responsibility of the government. Like Chidi rightly said, people like Timaya never waited for the government.
Yes.
We talked about the society, social media. What's the role of these people we are talking about, the youth themselves? Don't they have a responsibility to be responsible to the society? Must we blame all the things that are passing through on the society or their family?
Well, as a matter of fact, there's no one that just falls from heaven as a youth. Everyone was molded. So at every stage of their lives, there was an impact. Someone contributed. And these are the factors that were contributing into their formation process until they became teenagers and young people into the youth category, 30s and the rest of them. So it's that process, that formation process that we're addressing. But besides all this, like you rightly said, it's also our responsibility to have common sense as a young person, which is not actually very common.
The problem we have,
which is actually very common.
The problem we have with our youth is very simple. Because your uncle, your brother has money, and maybe say he doesn't want to help to have money, he mustn't help you. If you are a Pawan tapper, be a good Pawan tapper. Opportunity will come. When someone will do that to I say, Governor, Your Excellency, that's someone that used to drink, I have to say, go and bring him. What you are doing, be consistent, persevered, do it perfectly well. the opportunity will come.
But not everybody is very
But
patient.
that is where you have a
That's
problem.
the major challenge.
Now we also have a problem where our youths, you go and buy one shirt for 30,000. For what? It's not to wear clothes.
Meanwhile,
You wear this watch.
everyone in the world stays in an open apartment
My brother,
with big furniture, just a bed.
forget about you go and buy watch. You don't have money. Maybe you get something, they give you the 1 million. The 1 million, you go to hotel. Someone to stay with them, you go and spend in hotel. Say they should give you pay 200,000. You spend in hotel, you go and buy watch 100,000. When don't finish, you come back to school and say, oh, there's a witch. There's no witch. What we need for our girls, some of our girls, they'll go and do that job. They get the money. What you go and buy is iPhone 13. What are you doing with iPhone 13? Are you into movie?
That's where the common sense
Are you into movie?
that it's not these vices anymore that are responsible.
What I'm saying,
It's not these
you are
vices
going and buy Wivon 500,000 for what? Who will look your Wivon?
Bone Street.
What? So you see a woman, because her husband is working in a small bank where he's receiving 200,000, you are costing expenditure of 400,000 before the month end. How do you want him to survive? That will also end the man into doing small things before he's caught, he's sacked. I say my witch for the village. It's all about the common sense of us. Because Elon Musk is wearing shoe of 30 million, does not mean you should wear the same shoe.
Well enough, he's not wearing a shoe of 30 million. He's even wearing a shoe of $5,000.
No, I'm talking. No, it doesn't.
With all the wealth he has in this whole
So
world.
you make things based on your level, based on your category, based on your ability, and imbibe the spirit of saving. And I tell you, someone build a skyscraper, my brother, maybe that they get the money.
That is start herself.
Maybe that they get the money. So we have the truth about the matter.
That is start.
So patience, what you are doing, be the best in whatever you are doing. If you are Uber driver, be best at Uber driver. If you are one tapper, be best at one tapper. The opportunity will call on your door, knock on your door one day.
Thank you so much.
Let me tell you how I became a professor for university. Now, just normal write up on the media. I was editor of a local newspaper. So I saw one story about a priest. I told the father, this is about the priest. He said, I should publish it. That is paid for. I said, no, we can't publish it. That the loss of journalism is you should get the rest of the story. It's okay, go and get the rest of the story. I went to the man, got his own side of the story. I published it. I brought the comment and said, wow, that's good. Balance story. That's good. That's good. Can I have your certificate? I gave my certificate. He said, be my PA. I said, yes, sir. He said, resume work tomorrow. I said, yes, sir. I came to Florida. He said, no, go and be the peer of the university. That's how I became a peer of the university for 13 good years. So whatever you are doing, do it well. I resigned from the school. I took on another job. I do it well. Walk into any office, they say, you can do it well. So opportunity will come one day. They say, this boy, no. You know what he's doing. Put him here, you'll do better. So let us be patient as youths.
Thank you so much. Any
Like
final
say, like someone says, success is opportunity made with preparedness.
Sure.
When you're prepared, the opportunity comes automatic success.
You don't have a job.
So
you don't have anything doing. You come from your church.
Opportunity will surely come.
A pastor says, raise your phone. You are going to receive miracle moon of 1 million. For where? No, tell me from where now? And you close your eye. And you say, okay, for you to get it, you have to sow the seed of the money in your pocket.
So the tithe of the seed you're expecting.
Is that not the seeds?
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is that part of the problem?
It's part of the problem. I cannot off my mic. It's part of the problem.
He's off your back.
I cannot off the mic.
Thank you so much. We've listened to my very good friends, Mr. Chidi Peters and Mr. Val. We'll listen to them talk to us on youth restiveness and what we need to do. Like they said, the summary is we need to take responsibility, the youth first. They say we should have common sense. We have sense that should direct us aright. Let's not just do things because other people are doing them. We should be prepared for opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities out there. Let's not depend on a lot of people, on people to help us, uncles, but also families. You should learn to take responsibility. The government, let's take responsibility. And also, our peer influence also has a lot to play. But when we keep doing all these things, getting all these things right, it's going to help us address these issues of the youth. Thank you so much. Val, you have anything to tell our viewers?
Okay, like I always say, Noble TV is an outstanding platform, and I'd like you to always like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. As a matter of fact, click on the bell so you can always get prompting whenever contents from Noble TV comes up. You get first-hand information about general topics.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chide.
Commendable.
Off the mic on the church and tithe.
I'm off the mic.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm also what is this? What is this? What I'm not against that, though. But I'm saying when you don't have job doing, and they say you should raise the phone up to get job, okay. But raise your phone up to get miracle 1 million. It cannot come now. Or your salary is starting naira, and you are going to altar to go and make a promise of 1 million. Why are you going to get the money for? Say, God, it's 30 that I have. Take the 30 naira. If you bless me more, I'll come back again. Noble TV. Noble TV. Be noble enough to watch Noble TV.